This is the Las Bóvedas street in Cartagena. Street have names. And the name of this street is because it leads us to the vaults, the bóvedas, where they used to save the treasures. And we see that in this place, the houses do not have a balcony, the typical balcony that we find in other places in Cartagena, because this was low class among the Spanish.
Oh,
Classes on those days would be basically on top you had the nobility, the high nobility, which was those that were somehow closely related to the royal family.
okay.
Low nobility would be people who achieved nobility class by earning titles or buying them. Military, most of them. Some of them were part of the church. Most of them could also be part of the church, because at the end, the nobility class title was also usually given when you were ordered knight of arms of certain former kind of knight stuff that the Spanish used to have, like being the knight of the round table in England.
Oh,
They are given the title sir.
oh,
Here they will be given the title don,
oh,
which means descends from nobility, descendants of nobility.
okay.
So there will be a lot of them. Look, watch from here. Oh, we better get closer. Watch from we're going from here to the street here. After when we make it to Las Bóvedas. Now,
Pedestrians do not have the right of way in Colombia.
that's right. At most places.
No, in the U.S.
Look,
Oh, wow. What is this?
this is Las Bóvedas.
Las Bóvedas.
They used to save treasures here.
Okay, treasures.
Yes, it is built with the cutting edge advances of those days in building fortresses by the master Antonio de Arevalo. They were finished in 1790s.
Wow.
To the other side, it has a wall that is, I think, will be like 12 feet thick. So it's strong enough to hold cannon shots.
Oh, wow.
This is the safe box of Spain here in Cartagena. Gold brought from all places around Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Venezuela was brought here.
So this is like our Fort Knox.
Yeah, exactly. I think yes, it could be exactly about like that on those days. And also there was a time in which Cartagena became so powerful that they would even bring the gold from Mexico here.
Wow.
So from here it will be sent to Spain. But it's so everybody remembers that 2/3 of the gold extracted from the Americas by the Spanish are sunken into the sea because they were lost on pirate attack battles. And only 1/3 of all that gold arrived to Spain. We in Cartagena do not have an idea of how much it would have been complete in history. But it is estimated that probably it was 1,800,000 pounds of gold. 800,000 pounds of gold.
800,000
Pounds. 800,000, no, tons of gold.
tons.
Tons of gold.
In the ocean still?
Yeah.
Huh. I need to become a treasure hunter.
Yeah.
Get me a boat.
Yeah. So recently they found one of those boats close to Cartagena. Well, recently for what history means, but it was actually over 30 years ago.
Oh, okay.
It was the fleet of San Jose that was unloading about 2 tons of gold away from Cartagena. And all the gold is on the sea.
Wow.
And it was found by an American enterprise, the same one that found the place of the Titanic.
Oh.
It's a sea search armada. And they have all technology it takes to get that gold out of there. But they want it all for them.
Oh.
And the Colombian government said, all right, no, I think that's not cool. It's true, it's a treasure, but it's also the city's heritage.
Yes.
So, and the country's heritage too. And then they said, all right, let's have it half and half. And Colombia said, no, you will only have the 15%.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, no, that's not fair. Let us have at least the 30. No. And all that has taken about 30 years deciding and negotiating. At the end, they decided it was going to be half and half. But then Spain said, all right, you find a treasure of our days, then that you have to give us a part because that belongs to us and we have registers and all these things. And the gold was taken out of the mines with the Spanish control. All right, so let's be 3 parts of 3. That's okay, but then that was the recentest, I would say, like the most recent. And you had now Peru saying, but you took also gold out of here. That is good.
Everybody wants some.
You have it.
So what happened? Did they figure it out?
We don't know. They haven't talked. They haven't said any more about that recently. The last thing they said was about Peru wanting some gold out, some money. So these here, Las Bóvedas, used to have, as it was also a military basement, they used to have here where we have built this school, the Salesians school, back in the Spanish times, as well as that apartment complex that we see there. Mm-hmm. It was completely empty. The apartment complex was a garden, and on this side they had a field for shooting practice on those days.
Okay.
That is why the place was known as the Playa de las Bóvedas. Playa, because it was made out of sand, mm-hmm. So it was a beach.
Okay.
Now we're going up the ramp on the fortress here, so you take a look at what we have on this side. Don't miss this shot. It's necessary that you take it.
Whoa. Awesome. Look at those lamps.
Have to pay closer.
Beautiful.
This glass device is pretty cool. Let's go out to the top of the fortress here. That's the roof of the Bóvedas. That's the wall I told you about. Today, there is land starting from the wall all the way to the sea. This is land that was gained to the sea because originally the sea used to enter inside and further this part of the island. But the Spanish decided to settle this as the boundary, and they built the wall. They filled it inside and they allowed it to be part of the sea here outside. But after they needed also to protect this part, they had to build that part of the fortress there, which is known as el espigón. Espigón is another way to call like the spine.
Oh.
So it would protect the waves coming from the sea. They don't, because if it was, this wall was cannonball resistant, but the water hitting it all the time will make it easily, within the time, be stronger, because it is coral. The coral gets harder.
Oh.
Everything is on the salt of the sea.
Oh.
So if you build a beach this way, the coral will not get the water from the sea and will get weak. And probably in the time it goes dust. So they give lots of maintenance in here. We Oh, and it is good that we also have lots of rain, because the rain also makes good to the wall. Probably that has helped that most of these cobblestone made walls still still remain around Cartagena. Now we will go down that way to this town that take us to the other side. Let's come this way.
Oh, tunnel. Okay. You cannot be very tall.
Exactly. That's good. Good to know and realize. We have to watch, because there's an area there with some poles that will make us flip.
Okay.
And any flipping out is historical in Cartagena. Remember when the Pope did recently?
Oh, he slipped?
He slipped and fell against the pan window, the windshield
Oh.
of his Pope mobile, as he called it,
Yeah.
and bang, and he got quite hit.
Oh, wow. Oh, God bless him.
Yeah.
I don't quite have the hang of this thing.
So, as they couldn't control that the sea started to seed and the seashore started to become a beach out of sand, then they decided to block any possibility for the enemy to disembark any closer and try to break the wall. That's why they built this fortress here, which is known as this pine or el espigón de la tenaza. La tenaza is because to the other side, the fortress where we come from, when you watch it from bird's eye, it looks like a claw. And tenaza is claw in Spanish.
Tenasa is what?
Claw. Like a claw.
Oh, claw. Oh.
The wall of Cartagena has close to 3.8 kilometers, close to 4 kilometer maximum. Some other sources will let you know that it's about 11 kilometers, but those were some miscalculations. Recently, they remeasured it, and they realized it's exactly 3.8 kilometers. With some places that are broken around, it completes the 4 kilometers. This is because the wall used to completely cover a circle of 6 kilometers.
Yeah.
But in modern times, part of it was destroyed. Anyway, it's still considered one of the best in-wall cities of the world, still preserved in the world. We have Cartagena, and that's why it's World Heritage of Man. Let's go back this way and go back into the city, because once you are outside the walls, you are out of bounds, and the government of Spain will not be responsible of anything that happens to you.
Oh,
That was on those days that way.
okay.
Unless you go outside without permission of the Spanish government, if you were a don, or if you were somebody from the
monk?
military, a monk, or these things, then you could get inside the inlands of the viceroyalty of the new kingdom of Granite. Of course, if you wanted to travel from here to Bogota, for example, you needed a permission that you were leaving, and all those things. All of this was controlled by the three main statesmen of those days: establishment, the church, the royalty, and the military. And the church has two: the church itself and the Inquisition, which was more powerful than all of them together, because the Inquisition could get anyone, anybody, even the king or the pope, and question them.
Wow.
That's what they were to do.